Hello everyone and welcome to the Redstone Gallery. This is Shabby and I first want to start by saying thank you for watching this. This is basically everything I know about redstone. Now, I'm not the smartest person with redstone. I don't know, everything, but I do know enough to get me by and do some really cool things, and I'm going to show you guys everything I know, and today we're going to start out with the gallery here. And I just called it the gallery because I couldn't think of anything better, so why not, right? I'm going to start by showing all the different items that are redstone related, and then eventually I'll use this area back over here to build a bunch of crazy contraptions and stuff and show y'all how a bunch of different things work. But we're going to start off real simple, and I wanted it to be where everyone could comprehend what's going on, basically. So, first we're going to start out with buttons. Now, there's a wooden button and a stone button, and of course, if you click the button, you'll see that it takes about 2 seconds for a wooden button to pop back, right? And then a stone button only takes about 1 second for it to pop back. So if you do them consecutively, right, they should both pop back about the same time. Now, the one thing about a wooden button is you can also shoot it with an arrow. So that's a neat little thing we might use later on. As you can see, I've put a button on pretty much each one of these blocks just to show you the different properties. This is redstone. If you don't know what redstone is, it's like the thing found in the game you mine. And you can use it to make some cool little patterns and stuff if you want, like kind of like a thing or something. But it's mainly used as like the wire inside of Minecraft. That's what redstone is. It's like the wire. And so if I press the button will power the block, and the redstone is on top of the block here. And so it gets powered, and that's how that works. And this is redstone. Alright, now, up next, if you put 9 redstones together, you will get a block of redstone, or a block O redstone, as I like to say. And a block of redstone is very similar to a redstone torch, but they're different in a way because this one is always on. A block of redstone is always on. It's like a torch, but you can also move it around. So you can't move a torch around, but you can move a block of redstone around. Now, a redstone torch can also be depowered or inverted. So that's one thing we're going to discuss in a later episode. But a block of redstone cannot be depowered. It's basically on all the time. But, like I said, you can also move it around. Now, on to moving stuff around, you've got a sticky piston and a regular piston. And the difference between these two is a sticky piston will detract the block it is attached to with the stuff on here. Sticks to the block, pulls the block back. A regular piston, if you press that, will basically just keep pushing blocks out of the way and not detract it back. So that's the difference between a sticky piston and a regular piston. Now on to a note block, and there's some things I'd like to talk about note blocks. Let's go right over here. I'm going to set a couple up. Let me grab a couple blocks here. Let's see. Let's do some ice and glass. And I'm going to show you guys the difference between these. So if we set up a piece of ice and a piece of glass with some note blocks on the top, if you listen closely when I right click, that sounds like a bass beat kind of, right? This one kind of sounds like a melody. And of course you right click to change the note. Now, if this one sounds kind of like a, I don't know, kind of like a click, more like a snare drum. So if you experiment around and stuff, you'll see that like the note blocks have different sounds that they make. And of course you can use a button or a signal to activate the note block. Now up next is the dispenser, and the dispenser, and there's also a dropper. Now the thing about a dispenser is that when you put something in it, it will shoot the item out, and this is useful for eggs and arrows and stuff like that, like shooting things. Dropper is a little bit different because it also does what a dispenser does, but it has a little bit more, I'd say, different cool properties. One thing is that if you have like armor in here, it will automatically equip the armor if you click on the dropper. So that's one thing. And as much as this shoots things out, this will transport things. So you can put like a chest and basically get it to get stuff to go into a chest out of a dropper. Now, I'm gonna use all these things later on. I just wanted to show you this. Alright, now here's a wooden door and an iron door. And the only difference between a wooden door and an iron door is that the iron door is zombie proof. The wooden door is not. So I usually use iron doors to use on the outside of my home so zombies can't get in. But I mean, that's personal preference. If you want to use wooden doors, that's fine, but just beware of zombies, right? So also there's a fence gate. It reacts to redstone. Trap door reacts to redstone. The trap door is used for going in and out of like up and down ladder passageways and stuff. Alright, and there's also a redstone lamp. Now, redstone lamp is basically like the light we have for all this stuff. And a piece of glowstone, as many of you know, let me pull one of those out. A piece of glowstone is always lit up, like all the time. And a redstone lamp can be turned on and off. But it's basically like a piece of glowstone, but just you can turn it on and off. Alright, so up next we have the tripwire hook. And the tripwire hook is very useful. Use a piece of string right here, and the string acts as a tripwire, and that will turn on and off a signal, like the redstone lamp, just like the button does. It powers the block. Alright, then up next we've got a redstone comparator. This does a bunch of cool things. I hadn't quite got into it, but you can run signals and stuff, and it basically compares two signals, and then if it's right, it'll send out a signal. We'll get into that later. Redstone repeater, very similar. You can do some cool things. Basically, this is like the, it's kind of like a time lengthener type scenario, I'd say. So if you applied a, let me pull out something. If you applied a signal, like so, you'll see that it sends the signal through the repeaters. Now, we can also use it by setting it to the third position, or the fourth. I say 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's in 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Or the fourth position, if you want to say that. That's fine. You'll see that it takes a second for the pulse to go through. Now, that's just making more time between each, I'll say tick, even though I don't think that's an appropriate term. Right, so repeaters are used for a couple cool things. Show that off. Up next is the lever. Lever kind of acts like a button. It doesn't react with a button, but it's like an on-off switch, like a light switch, on, off, so on and so forth. Very useful for a bunch of different things, and I'm going to show you all that later. Up next we have the different pressure plates. There's a weighted gold pressure plate, a weighted iron pressure plate, a stone pressure plate, and a wooden pressure plate. Now, these have a bunch of different properties. We'll start down here on the gold. If I stand on it, the light doesn't light up. Same with the weighted iron one. But the stone one, of course, does work with me standing on it, and so does the wooden one. So, now, if you throw an item down onto the gold pressure plate, it will light up, and as well the iron pressure plate will light up. And I'm pretty sure one of these is used for like mobs and stuff. I just hadn't quite messed around with it enough, since it is relatively new. Wooden pressure plate will also accept items, but a stone pressure plate will not. It only does like someone standing on it. So that's what that does. Alright, up next is the daylight sensor, and when it's daytime, when the sun is out, this will pick up the photons, and then it will send out a signal. And I've got it on this light right here. And, yeah, that's what that does. It just says that, oh, it's daytime, turn on the signal. And, of course, you can invert it if you feel like, to do some different things. Like, so when it becomes nighttime, like, you know, stuff happens. Alright, so then we have TNT, or trinitrotoluene. I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm not going to activate it. You can, of course, activate it with a button and it will explode, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just showing things that are redstone related in a sense. Alright, up next is the hopper. And the hopper can be affected by redstone. You can put, here, let's stand right here. You can put redstone on the top of it and stuff and give it a signal. And giving it a on signal, I think, just stops things from going through the hopper. So that's very convenient to know. And a hopper is basically used if you throw a bunch of stuff in it, like so. I'm just going to throw all this stuff in there. The hopper, it goes into the hopper, and then you'll see it goes down into the chest. Now, the reason why that's useful is to transport things like a long distance, and you'll see you can shift and right click, and if you look at the bottom of it, it's pointing down right here, but since I clicked on this side while shifting, it's created like a long chain. So basically this is kind of like a pipe in Minecraft, you'd say. So you can run items really long distances with this, or at least I think, well, yeah, really long distances, but I'd say you'd have to be like, you know, loaded chunks and everything. So that's one thing with the hopper. Also wanted to show you, this is a trapped chest, yes. And if you look back here at this light, you'll see that it lights up when I open the chest. Now, this chest basically gives off redstone signal, so it's kind of like a button or a lever or whatever. So if someone accesses this or you open it, you'll know that someone's opened it, right? So here's a regular chest, and the regular chest does not power the thing. Alright, another couple honorable mentions here is the rails that they have in the game. So detector rail is basically like a button, but when a rail goes over it, or I mean a minecart goes over it, it will power and send a signal out, and then you can use the other ones to make it, you know, say, oh, this one's working, so on and so forth. There's also a powered rail, which is good for stopping and also making your minecart go faster. The activator rail, which will, if you have like a TNT cart, it will activate the TNT inside the cart. And also just a regular standard rail. Now, that's not really redstone related, but I figured it's rail related, so why not? And yeah, that's been all the things here in the Redstone Gallery. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and next time we will come back and build a bunch of crazy stuff. And yeah, if you liked it, please subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time. Alright.